facts. So in a message to Congress, June 8, 1934, Social Security was started by President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and he announced it as part of his intention to provide a program of Social Security. He appointed a working committee to make recommendations to the President and Congress. And following many sessions, the House and Senate passed the Social Security Act and was signed into law in August 1935. The creation of the Social Security program was a key component of FDR's New Deal, and it was landmark legislation. Nothing had existed like this before, and required bipartisan support in the House and Senate. So it's funny to think how that might move forward today. In 2020, we still depend on two legacy programs from FDR, Social Security and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corp, or FDIC, and both are really critical parts of our government and our financial future. If you look at this photo, you may notice something unusual. There's only one woman in the photo, and that woman was Frances Perkins. She was the first woman appointed to the U.S. Cabinet as Secretary of Labor, and she's held the office longer than any other Secretary of Labor. As you can see from the comments here, she really was a visionary who had a tremendous impact on the future of our country. And I think it's a nice thing to remember that she was part of establishing the Social Security program as we know it. This is the Department of Labor. It's named the Frances Perkins Buildings in Washington, D.C., and the square building is the Perkins Building. And so let's talk quickly. Who was the first person to receive Social Security? That was a Cleveland streetcar motorman. He received the very first Social Security retirement benefit as a one-time lump sum payout. And if you can look up there and guess what was the amount that he received, it's D, 17 cents. So Ernest retired just one day after the Social Security program began. During his 1 day of participation, he earned $5. He had a nickel withheld from his first pay for Social Security, and upon retiring, he received a lump sum equal to 3.5% of his wages, or 17 cents. The average lump sum payment during this period was $58.06. The smallest payment ever made was for 5 cents. And based on the U.S. Post Office records, in 1937, it cost Ernest Ackerman 3 cents to mail a first-class letter. So we got enough cash to mail 5 letters with his lump sum from Security. So just some fun facts here as we start. The payment of monthly benefits began in January 1940. Ida Mae Fuller, who's always referred to as Aunt Ida, was a legal secretary in Ludlow, Vermont, who worked for 3 years under the new Social Security program. The total accumulated Social Security tax on Ida's salary during those 3 years was $24.75. On January 31st, 1940, Ida received her first Social Security retirement check for the amount of $22.54. She passed away at age 100 in 1975, and during her 35 years, she received over $22,000 in benefits, or $24.75 paid in. So really shows the power of actuarial science and the program.
Kevin, I have a question for you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. The slides are still on Ackerman. So
yeah, let me get us caught up here. There was
okay, thanks.
That needed to be done.
You did such a good job on that.
Thank you. So when Ida, to put things in perspective, in 1940, Ida Mae Fuller would have needed about $800 to buy a new Chevy. This is a K Special Deluxe 4-door sports sedan. So to give in some context to it. So Social Security funding and spending. Let's get a sense of how it's funded and how much the program spends. According to the June 2020 Trustee Report, the Social Security program was paying benefits to more than 64 million people each month by the end of 2019. Beneficiaries fall into 3 categories: retirement, disability, and survivors. So there's almost 6 million survivors, 10 million disabled workers and their dependents, and 48 million retired workers and their dependents. So that's a total of 64 million beneficiaries. And the dollar amount of paid in benefits in 2019 alone was $88 $1.25 billion a month. That's between 8,000 to 10,000 people each day now turning 62 and becoming eligible to start collecting benefits in the system. So where does the money come from to fund Social Security? Right? It's funded by payroll taxes called FICA, the federal payments on your paycheck, which also Medicare is also funded by taxes. These FICA and Medicare taxes do not change. What does change is the Social Security wage base. The wage number base in 2019 was 132,900. In 2020, the wage base increased 3.6% to 37,700. There was no wage base for Medicare taxes. You pay those taxes on your entire earned income. So an employer's federal payroll tax responsibility includes withholding from an employee's comp and paying an employer contribution for Social Security Medicare taxes under the FICA guidelines. To say that in another way, the Social Security is funded by taxes from payroll that's withdrawn from the employee and from the employer. These numbers on the screen are from the Social Security Administration Office of the Actuary. In the end of 2019, there was $2.897 billion in the Old Age Survivors and Disability Insurance Trust Fund. In 2019, the trust fund received a total income of $1.06 trillion and paid out just slightly less than that. And by the end of 2019, the trust fund total assets were $2.897 billion. So a lot of numbers, but it's a really big program. That's the summary. The OASDI Tree Trust Fund, the long-term view, reserves are tapped to pay benefits in 2020, and by 2035, there's estimated to be a 20 to 21% benefit reduction. So we'll stay away from those topics now for the slide, but there is some idea that benefit will be reduced in the future. So this is the solvency. Some proposals would eliminate the entire long-term deficit of Social Security. Others would go partway. Some of the suggestions include lifting the cap on Social Security contributions. Remember, they were capped at 137. Some have increases to the percentage of tax withheld. Some have raising the retirement age. Some are switching to a consumer price index. The conclusion is the system could be fixed with some reasonable combination of the benefits and adjustments. We hear often, oh, well, Social Security is going away. And when you look at it, that does not seem likely. So Social Security and you, introduction to the basics. So how do you qualify for Social Security? During your working years, you earn credits towards Social Security retirement benefits. Anyone born in 1929 or later needs 40 credits, generally at least 10 years of work to qualify. Most people will pay into the system for 35 years or more. Social Security uses your highest 35 years of earnings to calculate your benefits. Important to note, you don't have to get earned credits consecutively. You stop working, the credits you've earned remain on your record, and begin working again, you earn more credits. And the amount of the credit is indexed. They go up some each year. Generally, people know that retirement benefits can start at 62, but as they near retirement, many people have questions about how Social Security works. Some of these questions are basic and others are more complex. Today, we're going to review some of the more basic questions. So it's essential to know your full retirement age. For people born between 43 and 54, the full retirement age is 66. If you're born in 1960 or later, full retirement age is 67. And for people born between 1955 and 1959, full retirement age goes up gradually. And so you can see here your primary insurance amount. So these are some of the details. Is the benefit you receive. You've been collecting your benefits at full retirement age. And at this age, your benefit is neither reduced for early retirement nor increased for delayed retirement. So the key question that I think everyone wants to know is how much will I get? So there's 4 key variables to how much you'll get. your claiming age, your earnings history, your marital status, and your longevity. 3/4 of those collecting benefits today are receiving a reduced benefit because they filed for benefits before their full retirement age, which is generally 66 for most older baby boomers. So while collecting benefits early can make sense for some retirees, it might not make sense for the single retiree who expects to live a long life. Collecting benefits early can significantly impact cumulative lifetime benefits, and it affects not just the workers' benefits, but survivor and spousal benefits as well. So when to file? So when should we file for your benefits? There's no simple single answer. You can start your retirements at any point from age 62 up to 70. Your benefits will be higher the longer you delay starting it. So here's an example. Let's say your full retirement age is 66. We'll assume at your full retirement age, your monthly benefits will be $1,000. Now look what happens if you begin collecting your benefits early. Social Security Administration gradually increases your full retirement age benefit by a certain percentage based on how early you begin receiving your benefit. So for example, if you claim benefit at 62 or your full retirement age of $1,000 a month is reduced by 25% to $725, which you can see all the way there to the left. So based on the assumption that your benefits will be paid over a longer period of time, in most cases, this decreases is permanent. So on the other hand, if you delay receiving your benefits past your full retirement age, for every month beyond your full retirement age you delay receiving benefits, your monthly benefit amount increases with delayed retirement credits up to 8% simple interest annually to age 70. Your age when you begin collecting benefits is the basis for the benefits you receive for the rest of your life. If you are married, it will also affect your spouse's benefits and survivor benefits when one spouse passes. So Social Security Retirement Estimator. The Social Security Administration website is well designed and very helpful. You can use the website to find retirement benefit projections that are based on your personal earnings record. The Social Security Administration has 2 online calculators that can help you estimate your benefits. One is a retirement estimator. It's quick and easy to use, but has limited information and functionality. The My Social Security link allows you to set up your own account and print off a detailed report. This is the same report that is periodically mailed to you, to each person paying into the Social Security system. Periodically reviewing your Social Security statement allows you to make your earnings record, make sure your earnings are recorded correctly, and to factor in the likely payout into your retirement plans. The information available will depend on whether or not you've begun receiving benefits. If you're not yet receiving benefits, you can request a replacement Social Security card if you meet certain requirements. You can get Social Security statement to review, which estimates your future retirement, disability, and survivor benefits, your earnings once a year to verify the amounts you've posted correctly, and the estimated Social Security Medicare taxes that you've paid. If you've already started receiving benefits or have Medicare, there are a variety of other functions that are available. But I would say, just in summary, that it's very good practice to use the Social Security website, go in, establish a username and password, as it can be very helpful for making these decisions. So if you received your Social Security statement, this is what it looks like. The Social Security Administration mails it out periodically if you're over age 60, but it's also available on their website if you set up an account. And if you're under 60, the only way you can get this report is through their online system. This is a sample of the internals of one of the reports. So you can see here, it gives you full retirement age, waiting until 60, waiting until 70, or starting until 62. You have your earnings record each year, and it'll show you each year tax Social Security earnings, your tax Medicare earnings. So it's very helpful to have that report. When I think most people, when they come to us for professional advice, want to know the question is just, when should I take my Social Security? that people want to be told that. And what we need to know is that longevity is really the biggest factor, is the real wild card for when you would be most benefited by taking Social Security benefits. So once you know your Social Security benefit amount for retirement age, the next thing you need to do is make informed decision about longevity. Obviously, no one knows how long they'll live, but things like family history and current medical can provide guidance. You can also find longevity calculators on the internet. This is the link to the life expectancy calculator available on the Social Security website. So you just enter some basic information, it'll do projections. And you know, the thing about Social Security is you have to be present to win. So the longer lifetime that you have, the better off you are waiting, because the gross benefit is going to be higher. I'll tell anecdotally, I think that we often find people are underestimating the life expectancy they'll have. People are living longer and longer. I believe for, I'm going off the script here a little bit, but for a married couple over 65, there's like a 75% one of them will live to be 95. And I think most of us are thinking that that's not, we're downplaying it. So we're going to start, I'm going to skip through a couple of slides here quickly with a younger married couple who are both still working, as I think that the demographic of our audience today is going to appreciate some of the latter examples. But if you were to want to come back and understand, you know, your individual situation, just know that each situation should be looked at independently. They don't all look the same. So these are inputs that we can use to say, you know, with different ages and different Social Security benefits, this is an internal calculator we use to really show people the benefits of waiting or what their income could look like. So making sure that we're optimizing that situation. The second scenario that we're going to look at is for a married older couple that are, again, I'm going to move quickly through this area of the slides for presentation to I think situations that are more applicable for the members of our presentation today. So just bear with me for one moment. And you can see here as we click through those slides that it is a complex evaluation in those areas. So what I'd like to do is talk about strategies for divorced spouses. So to receive benefit based on your ex-spouse's record, you must meet some very specific criteria. You're currently unmarried, your marriage lasted at least 10 years, that's required for your spouse or survivor benefit. You're age 62 or older, your ex-spouse is eligible to receive Social Security retirement benefit, and the benefits you're eligible to receive based on your own earnings record is less than the benefit you would receive from your ex-spouse's earnings. If you were born on or before January 1st, 1954, you may be eligible to file a restricted application for spousal benefits at your full retirement age. So like everything with the government, it's complicated. Again, we just focus on that each individual situation is different and they should be looking at them on a one-off basis. So let's look at some of the filing considerations for a divorced spouse. So Nancy is 65, would like to retire at 66 when her pension begins. She wants to claim Social Security at that time and relocate to a warmer climate. At her full retirement age of 66, Nancy will be eligible to receive a monthly benefit of $1,400. She's in excellent health, plans to be very active in retirement. So Nancy and Alan were married for 18 years. They've been divorced for 5. Alan is 66 and has not yet filed for Social Security benefit. Although his full retirement age of 66, he'll be eligible to receive a monthly benefit of $2,600. Nancy can simply file for her own benefit without considering her status as a divorced spouse. However, she may want to consider another option. So this strategy does not affect the ex-spouse's benefits in any way. So at 66, Nancy files for a restriction claim from a spousal benefit. She collects a spousal benefit based on Alan's work record. She earns delayed retirement credits up to 8% each year on her own benefit. And Nancy stops her spousal benefit and switches to her own benefit at age 70, which is increased by 32% with delayed benefits. This is the internal calculator for Nancy's situation. So Nancy can simply file for her own benefit without considering her status as a divorced spouse. However, she may want to consider another option. In this case, there's an option that could pay her $171,732 more over her lifetime than versus filing for her own record at age 65. I think again, trying to keep the summary is that, it does benefit individuals to look into the situation of their own personal finances and determine what is best for them. So let's talk about Social Security filing strategies for a surviving spouse. In this situation, we have Kathy, age 66, widowed, in good health, nearing retirement. Her monthly full retirement benefits are $1,500 a month, and her deceased husband, Bill, his full retirement monthly benefit was $1,800. So Kathy's options as a survivor are not affected by the partisan bill of 2015. Her options as a survivor, Kathy can file for survivor benefits based on Bill's benefits. She collects her survivor's benefits. She earns her 8% delayed retirement credit on her own benefits. And then Kathy stops her survivor benefits and begins collecting on her own at age 70. So similar to Nancy in the previous situation. Again, to the calculator, Kathy could take her own benefit at age 70, or she could take survivor benefits from her husband at age 66. And following the second strategy, she could increase her retirement income by more than $92,000 total. So let's talk about a single claimant. Now we have looking at the filing options for someone who's single, doesn't qualify divorce or survivor spousal benefits. And let's look at what we have for Michelle. Michelle is 59 years old. She's in good health. She never married, still working. Her full retirement age is 66 years and 8 months, and her full retirement benefit would be $2,400. So for this example, we'll compare monthly and cumulative lifetime Social Security benefits for Michelle based on 3 different strategies. One, beginning collecting benefits at age 62, beginning collecting benefits at full retirement age of 66 and 8 months, and delaying retirement age benefits delaying collection until age 70. So notice that even if Michelle waits until 70 to start collecting benefits, that her cumulative total will be higher than her starting benefit at full retirement age 62. This assumes that Michelle lives until age 95. The benefit of the delayed retirement credit is a very powerful way to increase Social Security benefits if you have a long life expectancy. Each person is different, and so someone with health issues may not want to delay the start of Social Security, as again, you have to be here to collect it. Additional considerations, working while collecting benefits and Social Security and taxes, and why it's essential to talk with your tax advisor. So working while collecting benefits. Social Security is designed to provide benefits after you've stopped working. If you elect to take benefits early, prior to full retirement age, part of or all of your benefit will be withheld if your income exceeds a specific threshold amount. If you've not yet reached full retirement, the Social Security Administration will hold $1 of benefit every $2 you earn that exceed the earnings limit. For 2020, the earnings limit is $18,240. So reading between the lines, it can be very unbeneficial to take retirement benefits too early. During the year in which you will reach your full retirement age, $1 of benefits is withheld for every $3 earned exceeding the threshold, and that earnings threshold increases to $48,600. If you continue working past your full retirement age and start benefits, typically between ages 66 and 70, then no earnings test is applied. If you continue to work to your full retirement age, your benefit is recalculated and adjusted to recognize the withheld benefits. The earnings test threshold will increase with the cost of living adjustment each year. However, the reduction in monthly benefits caused by an early elections to file never goes away. Summary again, if you can wait, please do. Social Security benefits may be taxable. So I'm going to touch on briefly on Social Security and taxes. There's some basics we'll cover, but really it's absolutely essential you have a conversation with your tax advisor, enrolled agent, or CPA about the implication of Social Security benefits based on your individual tax liability. So up to 85% of your Social Security benefits may be subject to income tax depending on how you file. Your income taxes and something called your combined income. Your combined income is calculated by combining your adjusted gross income with any non-taxable interest income you receive and 1/2 your Social Security benefits, so they make it really simple. If your combined income exceeds specific income thresholds, up to 85% of your Social Security benefit may be taxable, subject to income tax. If you file your income taxes as single or head of household and your combined income is between $25,000 and $34,000, up to 50% of your benefits may be taxable. If your combined income is more than $34,000, then up to 85% will be taxable. If you're married filing jointly and you have a combined income between $32,000 and $44,000, up to 50% of your benefits may be taxable. If your combined income is more than $44,000, then up to 85% of your Social Security benefits may be taxable. And if you're married and filing separate tax returns, you're likely to owe taxes on your Social Security. About 1/3 of people who get Social Security have to pay taxes on the benefit. Often taxes are not considered when electing a Social Security strategy, but they should be carefully considered. So this is a quiz. In retirement, if you take $100 from your IRA, how much of that withdrawal must be reported as income? The answer is 100%. How much of a $100 payment from Social Security reported as income? Up to 85%. So in retirement, which dollar buys more? The IRA dollar or the Social Security dollar? Answer is the Social Security dollar buys more. Another consideration, taxation of Social Security benefits changes by state, and the levels have a wide variety based on each state. Again, consult a tax advisor about your state-specific tax laws. So putting it all together, it's important considerations, gathering information, and taking the next steps. Before you decide, it's not always just about the money. You really need to look at, do you have health concerns? When will you stop working? Do you have access to other assets? And do you need income right away? Because everyone is different, you cannot make generalizations about which strategy is best for you. You need a solution that's tailored to fit your individual situation. The bigger question is, how does Social Security fit into your overall retirement plan? A 4-box strategy of income planning offers a simple way to think about your income and expenses in retirement. You would need another hour to review this 4-box strategy in detail, but for now, just to note that Social Security is a foundational can't outlive. Today, we started to scratch the surface of Social Security. There's much more to learn, and I think we all owe it to ourselves and our families to learn as much as possible. about our filing options. Here's some tips to get started. Create a Social Security account, verify your statement, know your full retirement age, identify health, family, or financial concerns, consider when you plan to stop working, project your retirement income needs, and talk with your tax advisor. What I think that we found is the more income that you get, more information that you gather, the greater the chances of making a good Social Security decision. So you can visit the Social Security Administration website, as I've talked about before, ssa.gov. You can call them, or you can actually contact them directly. If you're interested in a personalized review of your Social Security choices, you can simply connect with us via our website or get in touch with Singles Travel International. And we obviously provide a no obligation review of your options and fill out what might be the best decision for you. So I just want to say thanks everyone for your time and attention today. Again, I'll go ahead and pull up my webpage so that you can see how to contact me. And I'll pause there and open it up for questions.
Great, Kevin. Thank you so much. There was a lot of information that was packed. For those of you who stayed, way to go. I learned a lot of things that I didn't know myself. Maybe because I'm on the lower end, in the late 50s, I hadn't been looking into this as much. So it was very, very informational. And I have some questions if you have some time.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. There were a couple questions posted in here. So one of them is, do I need to work until the maximum? So in other words, if I want to collect the most amount of money from Social Security, do I have to work until those years of 67 or 70, or just not file for it until then?
That's a great question. So the working aspect will help you to continue to contribute money onto your statement, which could increase the level of benefit that you receive. But to directly answer the question, no, you do not need to continue working to receive your benefits. The benefits are determined by that 10-year earnings test. And then once you've met that test, the time frame to which you apply for benefits will change the value based on your full retirement age benefits. Does that answer that question?
Yes. Okay, great. So, I mean, I don't have to keep working. And if I have some money in the bank that I'm able to sustain, then I could hold my application to withdraw. I might not be using the right words, but then just collect the most when I'm ready.
Yeah, I'll say it in a different way. We're often working with people that want to retire before 60 and determining how might be able to spend existing savings to get to a higher payout from Social Security, because we know that money is guaranteed to be there for a lifetime. And so that's some of the ways that you can be strategic. It doesn't have to be that they all start at the same time. It could be at 59 and a half, you start to use your 401k IRA pension monies. And then that gives you a bridge to allow that full retirement age to creep up further. And you know that you'll have, an excess of 8% times 4 years over your full retirement age. So those are the kind of things that we work on a one-on-one basis to ensure that we are meeting the goals of that individual's desired lifestyle.
Great. Here was a question that I think follows up with that one very nicely, and that is, you hinted, everybody says Social Security is going to be gone by the time I retire, and you hinted at that not being probable. And I wonder what the basis for that slide might be.
Sure. So a few things. Social Security is backed by the United States government. The United States government has the ability to tax the largest economy in the world, the U.S. economy. And so a promise of the U.S. government can be fulfilled by the taxing power of the U.S. government to the economy. It's very difficult to remove promised benefits. So is it going to be the same way it is today? No. But will it be gone? Highly unlikely. I
I
hope that helps
understand
answer
that.
that
Yes,
question.
and that was that slide that you showed in the beginning with the suggested models that might come into play. I remember that.
That's correct. There's a variety of proposals that, while they haven't yet, will be enacted. Either smaller increases in the values for waiting, longer time before full retirement age, higher taxes before retirement, and probably a combination of many of them. There won't be a one size fits all.
Kind of a hybrid. Okay. This is one of the other questions that came in while you were speaking. When filing for an ex-spouse's benefits, I think a lot of us were like, "Oh, we like that, right?" Because that is a great strategy. I think that was the golden nugget for many of us today, that we could actually take. It sounded like we could take the benefit of our ex and spend that money while we wait for the deferred amount on our own retirement claim. So
That's go ahead.
did I understand that correctly?
Yes, so that understanding is correct, and I think if I would in a short like cocktail type conversation say like, oh, what's the biggest mistake that people make? It's that they don't really look deeply into what might be available. They get the statement, they go online, they think about it, and they press the button. And I think you're right online that there are some different strategies where you can use your either spouse who's passed or your ex-spouse, and you can claim their benefits for a period of time, thereby waiting for your benefit to be maximized and then use that benefit long term. I think we saw that in both of those slides, and I think that that function and somebody just pulling the trigger at age 62 because they want more money are the two things that we see where it's like, well, you've already shot, you only get one shot, you've already shot it, and you lose a lot of benefit because you kept working and you didn't understand the taxes, and now the benefit can't rise up. And it's like, those are the two mistakes that we see that are just very much administrative, just administrative mistake that was made. So those are, that you
Right.
did see that correctly, Tammy.
Well, I can see the benefit of hiring a professional, and I want to ask you about that kind of at the end before we close. But I have a couple more questions. We still are under our hour, so I think we're good if you are.
Yeah, I am. Yes.
Okay. So when we were filing for the ex, or if it's one of our spouses passed away, and we're the surviving spouse, when we're collecting that benefit, are the dollar amounts combined, mine plus my ex or mine plus my bereaved, or is it just I collect on theirs while I'm waiting?
So that's a good question. So when you'll receive a spousal benefit number. It'll be lower than your social security number, and it'll be lower than your spouse's number. And that will be the number that you'll collect in that interim period before you execute on your benefit number. And because that your number moves up by 8% a year, that waiting longer to execute your benefits is the real value in that process. So it's a step and then a step up. I hope that makes sense.
Well, just a little follow up on that. If so, let's say mine was 1,600. I think one of the gals was 1,600, and the ex-husband was 2,600. So would I collect some kind of a combination of those two numbers?
Yeah, that's correct. You would
Not the full complement of both?
you would collect based on the 2,600 in the interim years, and then you would turn over to your benefits at age 70. And then that you would get these step ups on your 1,600 of 8% a year. And then that would be the lifetime benefit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I thought I heard you say was that I would collect the 2,600 dirham. So
Yes.
my
Yes, that's
exes. Okay, gotcha. Okay, thanks. It's so simple, and I don't know why I wasn't getting that. Thank you.
no problem.
Now, one other question before my final one is somebody asked about the tax brackets when we were talking about once we start collecting our Social Security and there were ranges where it would be 50% or 85%. Would that be, I mean, if I'm just collecting Social Security, so let's say in that example, I'm $1,600 and I'm collecting that and I'm falling in that range of, let's say, the 50%. So does that mean I'm going to get $800 a month?
No, that means you're going to be taxed on $800 a month.
Oh, I'm
So
only taxed on 50%
yeah,
of my benefit.
that's correct. So
Okay.
based on your bracket will determine what percentage of your 1,600 gets taxed. 50%,
Gotcha.
85%, or 0%.
Okay, great. I'm just looking to see if there's any more questions here. And I think we're in pretty good shape. And we have a couple people live here. If anybody has a question, please go ahead and put it in the chat. And while I ask Kevin, my final one, which is, Kevin, if you were going to give some advice to our members here at Single Life Today for seeking out and finding a financial advisor or tax advisor, what 2 to 3 qualities would they or accomplishments would they look for in an advisor to know that that person is qualified and to give them a shot at probably helping them make decisions on one of the most important parts of our lives?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tammy. So one of the first things that I would do in looking for an advisor is I'd want to do a little bit of research about the different kind of advisors that are available. Does this advisor specialize in investment management? Do they specialize in insurance products? Do they do financial plans? And I think just understanding that there's different kinds of advisors and then interviewing different advisors in different areas and being sort of open to that it's an interview process. And like you said, Tammy, it is the most important, one of the most important financial moments for people where they're going from, trading their time for income to build assets. Now you're going to trade your assets for income to get time. If you can follow that logic. And so it's very important conversation. And so I think that's the first thing is to one, I think the onus is on each individual to generally understand the type of people that are available to help and what they do. From there, I would be very focused on finding an advisor that offers a fiduciary role. Fiduciary is a legal term that says the advisor is forced to work in your best interest. And most fiduciary advisors, you pay a fee to. So the advisor just doesn't say, be my client and buy this stuff from me and then I'll help you. That's not a fiduciary financial advisor. They say, pay me to be your advisor, give me all of your information and let's start to build a plan. I think that advisor can be very effective. And then I'd also say to think about the advisor's team, right? And what happens if the advisor goes out of town for 2 weeks? Are there people on the team to back it up? Are they what kind of firm are they part of, right? Are they in a small group that's in a small office? Are they part of a big national company, right? And it doesn't mean either one is better or not. It just means being aware of sort of what you're getting into. I think the classic example is I asked my friend Mike. Mike knows Dave, and I go to Dave, and I don't really look any further. I don't really understand like how Dave operates, and is Dave going to be retired 5 years from now when I'm looking for him to come back for advice? So those are just some things, Tammy. I don't think it was a straight line, 1, 2, 3, 4 that I might look for. But I think doing your own research, right? Interviewing multiple people, finding a fiduciary, and then making sure they're there for the long haul.
That's a great piece of advice. As a business owner for all these years, I have struggled through the kind of the solopreneur model where especially in the tech end where you work with a one-man show, and you can get burned with that. So a lot of us go into not only relationships with professionals, but romantic relationships, and we don't always think about the end game. And so as now that I'm in my upper 50s, I always think about the end game. Like, how am I going to exit this, right? And so you want your planner to be there long after you are.
I joke too with people that often when I meet people that are in the the age range of my parents that are closer to actually retiring in their early 60s, and I say I know that it might seem more comfortable to hire your friend, but I'm going to be still working when you're 85. And my team will still be here, my organization will still be here, and while it's not maybe as comfortable, sometimes getting an advisor a little bit younger than you can ensure that they get you over that hump and into retirement and into your spending. So I think that either that or that they have an organization, right, that you can see that there's a people in that organization as well is very powerful.
Great, Kevin. Well, I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect us from all of the entities, and I want to thank everybody for joining us today. For those of you who joined on Single Life today, we're going to continue the conversation. If Kevin has time, he'll be here, or we can just socialize with one another. It's Saturday afternoon, and I hear it's starting to get cold in some of the areas of the country. We certainly look forward to Kevin coming back again in October. We are operating and hosting at least 10 events per week now on singlelife.today. And every week we're bringing on new experts and coaches just like Kevin. And we cannot wait to meet you and to connect with you. And the address is www.singlelife.today. We have one more event this afternoon called Tech with a Teenager. So if you're struggling and your head is spinning and you can't tell Zoom from YouTube, from Facebook, this is a great session, because when you have questions about technology, who do you ask? A 13-year-old. So we look forward to you guys on that event. We've got Coach Amy tomorrow, and our first wine tasting is on Thursday with Dirk from the Santa Barbara region. That kicks off our four event wine series. And we have so much more going on, and we just can't wait to meet you and look forward to having all of you on and meeting and having a great time. So happy Saturday, and it was a great session, and thanks for all the questions, everybody. We really appreciate it.